Welcome to critical illness sharing. Two key topics that people always ask me are, isn't my hospital plan enough for my critical illness? And what is the difference between early versus major CI? Aren't they the same? Right? So I would actually like to talk about why cancer actually, or rather critical illness became such a hot topic. Especially in April, there was a lot of changes done to the cancer drug list as by MOH. So there was a lot of spotlight into cancer and whether this current cancer drug list or the coverage is then enough for us when we actually get cancer. And here I would like to actually share about a Singaporean who was 28 years old. He actually made plans for his own funeral before succumbing to bone cancer after 5-year battle. So he actually as we all know that cancer is, a very deadly illness and that it actually keeps spreading nonstop. So for this young man, unfortunately, 2018, he discovered that he had it. So he had to stop school. And in between, there was enter remission. He did go for recovery. And then there was another remission. And it kept spreading and spreading, and he underwent a couple of surgeries all the way until it was terminal stage after 5 years. So it actually goes to show that, number one, why we every time always talk about critical illness having 5-year recovery to make sure that there is sufficient coverage for yourself to actually replace the loss of income as though you are not able to work for 5 years. And also why we actually created our critical illness plan. CI is actually something that I hold very dear to myself because I feel that a lot of people are very unaware about how important CI is. And it's not, you don't come across many agents who are very skilled in explaining about CI because you have to have a lot of interest and knowledge about health and wellness, which is what I do. So how much to plan for? So that's why we actually always say to assume a 5-year CI recovery period, and that the average Singaporean actually needs a close about 300K, but a lot of them have only about 60K. So sometimes some people say that, oh, I already have 50K, but number one is your definition that of the old plan. That's number one. Number two, 50K 20 years ago is very different from a 50K coverage right now. So that is very important for us to consistently look at and to top up our critical illness coverage. So the truth about cancer is that there is a lot more to CI rather than just cancer. Cost of cancer treatment has been rising at the rate of 20% a year, and it goes in much faster pace than any other medical treatment. This goes to show that, number one, cancer is very prevalent, but number two, it also means that if you get cancer, it's not the end of the world. So that is the reason why we actually made changes to the CDL, and we actually increase the limit for those that want to claim under the cancer drug list. However, those that are not on the drug list, they are not covered for. So a lot of people also ask me like, oh, CI, right? That is under hospital plan. Absolutely not. Because when you actually have cancer or you have any form of critical illness, it actually sets you back because there is a potential loss of income. You would have to end up going for caregiver support. You would have to buy home medical equipments. You will also have to still pay your mortgage, household expenses, and your childcare still continue. So cancer is a lot more than just, oh, hospital plan is able to cover me. And the next question is that, and next thing that I would love to share is that CI is more than just cancer. Top 3 causes of death relating to CI is cancer, heart attack, and stroke. And those that require long-term treatment and care is kidney failure, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. We would actually see that 53% of AIA's major claims are actually CI. So this actually goes to show how important CI is. And it can strike anybody even when it's young and even without those who have risk factors such as family history. For those who actually survive, they would actually continue to face a lifetime of chronic health conditions. And a lot of them always regret they lapse, okay, and they cannot get any more CI coverage. This is the reason why in our top tier CI plans, which is called absolute critical cover, we actually allow people to, even after they claim once, they actually can claim up to 5 times. So you can imagine like you buying like 250K, right? No, sorry. Yeah, 200K CI coverage, you actually can claim up to 1 million in your entire lifetime. So that's pretty a lot. So the most important thing is that whether you actually have enough and whether you actually have that plan that actually allows you for repeated CIs, because CI doesn't just strike once. And also, even if let's say you're not able to get those very top tier plans, going for middle tier plan, such as one of our cancer plans, or even finding, you know, those type of plans that may not cover very extensive, but it still covers the common CI, is still better than not having anything. So what can I get this, what can I claim for if I kept that payout? A lot of people always only see the treatment and the medication and the daily expenses, which is covered majority in the shield plans and the rider. But there is a lot of expenses such as long-term care, mobility support, health and nutrition, as well as changing priorities that people do not see. So this can actually be addressed by the lump sum payout from a CI. If you're just relying based on integrated shield plan or rider, or even worse, if you don't have a rider, then you are just looking you are just only heal the, or you are only sort out the tip of the iceberg and leaving the rest to sink by itself. So this is when everybody ends up either wiping out their MediSave or their family members' MediSave, or they just end up really struggling on a daily basis, not and being a liability to everybody else. Hospital plan is very different from a CI plan. A hospital plan, what it does is that it reimburses hospital treatment fees, and it also, but only if you're in hospital. So cancer, or rather CI, sometimes it's a very long-term illness that actually you have to battle, especially remission, right? Or not only just cancer, you're talking about other things such as heart attack, stroke, and so on. So this lump sum is given to you to cover living and long-term care expenses, which then can also be used to cover out-of-pocket such as co-payment or co-insurance, which especially if you don't have a rider. So this is also my plan that I also suggest for those who are not able to get hospital plan or riders. And that is why we actually have some alternatives, even aside from the very high-end CI plan, because that is also can be quite costly starting from 30 years old. So we also have multi-stage cancer cover that's really affordable, that detects early, intermediate, and major cancer, 20 years term, and it has only 3 health questionnaires. Very simple. You're actually looking at like somebody who is 45 to actually pay about 1,000 for 100K coverage, and it actually protects you for 20 years. Once you actually get cancer, you get immediate payout. So there's no medical checkup required, only 3 questions asked, which is this. If you happen to pass these 3, then you can get the plan. Whereas if you would like to actually get a very comprehensive CI plan, then you have to do the whole underwriting, and most of the time you may not be able to get it. So as like a table that has 4 legs, okay, we also your coverage as well. You need to have death, savings and investment, early CI, and accident and hospitalization. Okay, so a lot of people sometimes they just have a tip of the iceberg, and you know, after I meet them and I review with them, and they decide to top up, and that often you really never know when something happens, and you'll be thanking me for it. So the thing about CI is that it doesn't just strike once, and it can be a few situations, which this is the reason why our CI plan actually helps in repeated illnesses. Okay, when you have early, intermediate, and major, early is the biggest subset. So intermediate and major falls within it. This means to say that if you have major CI plan, but you have early CI, there will be no payout. Okay, I repeat, if you have major CI plan, but you don't have, you have major CI plan and you have early CI, there is no payout. However, the reverse is possible. when you have early CI plan and you get major CI, we can pay out. That's because early CI plan, early CI is is the biggest subset. So it can stretch from this all the way to late stage CI. Okay. So of course, you have other plans that are a lot more simplified. Okay. And simplified meaning more affordable as well. Okay, so I encourage you, if you would like to look into your CI plan, or like to just inquire a few questions around, you can actually just WhatsApp me and get in touch with me. All right, thank you.